so much. I love you so much. I love you so much. I love you so much.
Hello, all you positive heads out there. Thanks for tuning your beautiful brainwaves into another episode of the Positive Head Podcast, where we are firmly convinced that creating success and happiness is rooted in understanding the ultimate nature of reality and the fact that as human beings, we are all immensely powerful fractals of the one and only source consciousness which creates and animates all things. After years of exploring this awe-inspiring truth on this podcast, I'm super excited to announce that we are now going even deeper down the rabbit hole on the new late-night style consciousness-elevating talk show called Optimistic, which features none other than you, the listeners. Optimistic is taped out of the epic, spaceship-esque 8-bedroom property we call the Mystic Manor that myself and the rest of the Optimistic crew now navigate reality from in Venice Beach, California. And you are invited to come experience a Mystic Manor immersion week with us. During your week-long stay, you'll enjoy unique workshops, chef-prepared meals, one-on-one time coaching and consulting with me, and even co-creating magic with me as a guest on both Optimistic and an episode of the Positive Head podcast. When I started this, my aim with these immersive retreats was to facilitate the ultimate spiritual upgrade and tune-up, so to speak, for our guests while providing them with one of the most memorable experiences of their lives. And I'm happy to say that as of this recording, every guest at the end of their trip so far has told me that they have had a profound and transformational experience at the Mystic Manor and that they definitely want to come back. All that being said, we only have a limited number of spots available between now and next July. And as of this recording, about half of those spots are already filled. So if there's any part of you that is screaming, yes, I want to come, I feel like I need to be there, go now and book a slot with me to discuss how we can put our heads together and make it happen at calendly.com/talkwithbrandon. I know for some people, there is also that little voice in their head saying, why not? I can't get off work. I can't afford it, and on and on and on. But, really, Henry Ford, I think, said it best. Whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right. And I'm confident that where there's a will, there's a way. And I'm personally committed to doing everything in my power, including discounts and payment plans, to get you here if it is something that truly feels like a huge yes for you energetically and like you're meant to be here. Once again, the link to book time to discuss with me is calendly.com/talkwithbrandon. That's spelled calendly.com/talkwithbrandon. All one word, of course. And book in some time and look forward to seeing you soon here at the Mystic Manor. All right, all you positive heads, welcome. Here we grow again. So grateful to be back with you guys on this magical Monday. I am here and ready to deal with some disappointment and talk a little bit about coming as a creator instead of a reactor. So some of you guys might remember a few weeks back, I did an episode on a negative review that was received on iTunes, episode 1017 on constructive criticism, and talked a little bit about, someone who had not liked the changes that were happening with the podcast, some of the format changes, or the fact that, we were talking about the Mystic Manor as much as we were and that sort of thing. And I sort of made a whole episode on that as I often will do, right? Things that are bubbling up in my life or challenges or, growth points, if you will. And, I was really surprised to go just a bit ago and just kind of look at reviews for the first time since then. And there's like a slew, 6-7 reviews in a row that are very similar in the fact that they're, just low ratings as far as star ratings, and kind of what's being said is not how they didn't really appreciate that episode. And so, yeah, I just, of course, dealing with that. It's the first time in almost 5 years of the podcast where I've seen like just tons of low ratings and bad reviews in a sense in a row. There's been like one here and there really randomly. And so, yeah, it's just like, okay, why is this happening for me? What is there to teach me about this? And first off, I just want to say that I'm super thankful to the people that have left these reviews. I'm not sure if it's different people, each and every one of them, or perhaps it's the same person, doing multiple reviews. Not quite sure either way, it doesn't really matter. Gives me the opportunity to deal with that like sinking feeling of, oh my gosh, here's this thing I've worked so hard to build. And now all of a sudden it's like, if I were to see the reviews of our show now, it's like, it's pretty bad. That's all the top ones. Okay, what does this mean? How do I deal with this? Where do I go from here? And, thinking back, okay, a lot of those newer reviews said that, that episode 1017 was really defensive and immature, and that I was sort of attacking the person. And I don't quite recall, it was a few weeks ago, everything that was said, but that wasn't my intention in how I approached it. If I came off that way, obviously that's not how I ever want to come off. So I'm certainly apologize if I was overly reactive, and certainly have plenty to grow from all of these experiences. All of these challenging things are always there for us and not happening to us, as I talk about. So, if I was defensive or overreactive, I do know there was a lot of good wisdom that I believe in there. I also know that I was somewhat, challenged and hurt in the process of seeing it, I'm sure, just like in these most recent round. Really the question is always, what intention are you bringing to it? And like I said, if I was over defensive or reactive, then, I apologize. That's not something that I want to be or do or portray on the show. In general, I really want to be, my aim, and this is giving me an opportunity right now to do that. I want to be like, some of you may have heard of the story of the monk, the Zen monk who had a baby once, or so they say. And I'll actually just read it here real quick. Master Hakun, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, Hakuin, and the baby. So I'll just read this, pretty short. And it's, the great Zen master Hakun lived in a small hut outside a village where he was greatly respected. One day, a village girl became pregnant. The father of the baby left town, and she was alone and frightened. She did not know what else to do and told the entire village that Master Hakun was the father. All the townspeople were shocked with him. They stopped bringing food and offerings. Instead of praising him, they now blamed him. "You are the worst of all beings," they said. And Hakun said, "Is that so?" The baby was born with the village girl. She brought the child to Hakun to be cared for. "This baby is yours," she said. And he responded, "Is that so?" And he took the baby gladly. He cared for several years for the baby, presumed, did everything, taking, 100% feeding, clothing, maintaining. Then one day, the father of the baby returned to the village to marry the mother and take the baby back. They told everybody the truth about what happened. The people were astonished. They began to now praise Master Hakun and return to his hut with offerings. He is, of course, the same. "Is that so?" Soon, okay, I'm in good graces. Great, And soon after, the couple returned for the baby, and he just gave them the child lovingly, And so this is someone who just flowed with what was, and that is certainly my aim. And I have a lot to learn from, I think, all of us, from ever being over or negatively reactive. If something is coming at you that's negative and then you're returning it with any negative energy, everyone loses, right? And so the other thing I would offer is, I certainly know, I can remember back to that episode a few weeks ago and know, although, maybe sort of defending myself, maybe overly defending myself, that I also had a lot of good intention there. And that we got to always be careful, I think, of throwing the baby out with the bathwater. Of course, I'm human. I'm here working things out. I always say we teach best what we most need to learn, right? And so with anyone out there, Donald Trump, I don't care who it is, right? Whoever is a trigger for you, throwing the baby out with the bathwater, people are going to have moments and so forth. And and someone, whoever it is, has had something good to offer too. And I think sometimes what we do is we throw, like if someone does something that we don't like, or they react in a way that we don't like, we instantly like completely throw them out. And what's great about this particular situation, as soon as I saw all these now, instead of one review, it was like 6 stacked in a row. A scene I have never seen in all the years of the podcast. It instantly made me go into a state of just complete surrender. Right? It's just like, oh, okay. Well, whoever this is, if there's more people that decide to do this, then, is it going to, is it challenging? Is it somewhat hurtful? Does it hurt my feelings? Does it stop, now help the show to not reach more people because the ratings go down? All those things are true. And at the end of the day, I can learn from the experience and how I deal with the experience and what, how I transmute it. And what I find is whenever I'm really feeling charged and challenged and hurt or any of those things, like, oh, what if I just surrender? And instead of being angry or defending myself, I'll thank the people that are doing it and know that that's only helping me to sharpen my axe. It's helping, as I always say, smooth seas never made for a skilled sailor. So it's certainly not lost on me. And also that it's always a reflection in some way. And so I instantly then go to it as like, oh, have I felt out of alignment more often than not in recent months? And that's why I would be getting a review like this than maybe a year ago or 2 years ago. And it's definitely, part of the whole transition into launching Optimistic and everything has been being stretched in ways I never have before, and challenges I've never had before, and even up to today, new challenges that arose, some good things that are happening. We're finally about to release the trailer to the world, and I'm so excited how it's looking and come together. But yeah, so, just really sort of always saying, instead of worrying about or concerned about what the person out there did, what does it tell me about myself and how does it help me to grow? And if we can always do that, then we're always using these trip ups, these things that are challenging as a way to only expand and grow ourselves. And for that, as I've said before, when you truly understand, a thank you is always in order. And so I want to give a huge thank you to all my negative reviewers lately. I'm hopeful that they don't continue. I'm hopeful that maybe some people who haven't ever left a positive review, feel inspired to go in and sort of do that now. But I'm unattached to all of it, right? And I will surrender and accept whatever should come next as far as that goes. And I even went and looked at checked out a video from Abraham. To hear some Abraham perspective on it, learn how to react the right way in any unwanted situation is the clip that I found, and I found this on the Manifested Desires YouTube page. And let's take a listen to that, and then I'll talk a little more.
And so what we would like you to do is to learn to react to the vibration before it's a condition. In other words, we want you to react. It's like if you're driving and the bumps on the road let you know that you're going off the road into the ditch. We want you to react from the information. And so getting yourself in alignment is about reaction, isn't it? It's about using your guidance system. How could anyone effectively use their guidance system if they're not reacting to the guidance or adjusting to the guidance? So when you talk about reacting, if you are talking about reacting to a comment or reacting to a situation, we want to say it's natural that you would, it's just a little too late. Because once it has come so far that you're having that experience, of course, then the reaction becomes part of your experience. So it really is about catching it earlier. It's about caring about the way you feel and catching it as early as you can, yes?
I've been using meditation as a practice for...
That's a really good way to practice a vibration.
How do I tell the difference, between that gut feeling and that head and those different thoughts that are coming in on maybe a decision to make or something to go for?
We've been talking a lot about inspiration, but we want to remind you all here today that that feeling of inspiration is that feeling of being called. It's really a feeling of momentum. So you can be inspired from the receptive mode, from the receiving mode, from source, or you could be inspired from your resistant mode, from trouble. In other words, sometimes if someone is behaving in a way that causes a reaction to you, you feel like responding in the way you do. And so you are inspired, you might say. You just want to be aware of from what vibrational stance the inspiration is coming. You see what we're getting at? So there is no way around this other than to consciously acknowledge what the receiving mode feels like. Compliment yourself when you are there. Acknowledge the benefit of being there, not just because of the results that happen, but because of how good it feels along the way. And before you know it, you just become less willing to think the thoughts that will eventually lead to the more unwanted experience. It really is about practicing it. But we've never known anyone who was successful at shifting their vibration who did not understand vibrational basis of things. Almost everyone in your world is reacting to situations. So it's just a reaction to this and a reaction to this and a reaction to this. And we want you to realize that you didn't come as a reactor, you came as a creator. And so what you're wanting to do is, first thing in the morning, before there has been anything really for you to react to, do your best through meditation is a really good way to tune in to who you really are. And then after you've tuned into who you really are, then you can begin reacting to the impulses that are coming from that. Such a good word. We haven't talked about reaction in this context with much depth. Is it of value to you? Can you feel it?
Awareness has been something which is built over time as my frequency has changed and as I've done more meditation practices. And oftentimes now I may react and I'll go, damn it, I knew I should have caught it then. How can we, is there any strategies or anything that we can implement to be able to catch things quicker?
Yeah, acknowledging that you didn't catch it quicker is a good step in queuing yourself up to be ready earlier. But we want to insert another word into this conversation so that you can look at this in a different way. Let's use an example, not necessarily one that you're offering, where someone is suing you or negatively affecting you in some way, and you have a reaction about that. What we would like to say is that really what it is a continuation of a vibration. The things that are manifesting in your experience are actually reactions to a vibration that you've got going on. So in a world of law of attraction, isn't everything a reaction? Everything's a reaction to the vibration that you've got going on. That's really important to acknowledge. Can you feel how important that is? So in this continuum of reactions, you just got to decide to what do you want to react? And what vibration do you want to practice to which you know the universe will respond or react? And so someone sort of has to break the evil cycle. We're being playful with that word, because otherwise it's just a chain of pain. And someone has to decide, wait a minute, I'm not going to go the way of this momentum. I'm going to do something else, but I can't do it right now because the momentum is taking me. So I'm just going to take a hiatus from this conversation or from this topic. And I'm going to focus upon the things where my reaction and the universe's reaction to my reaction is what I want it to be. So let's not condemn reaction. Let's call it a natural consequence of the vibrational universe in which we are all focused. And instead, let's just talk about getting better at focusing and better at sending a signal to which the universe is going to react. And just be playful about it. That's really important. Esther started playing a game with herself where when wonderful things would happen, she would say, I did that. And when not wonderful things would happen, she would say, I did that too. because there's something so empowering about accepting that you are doing it all and the universe is reacting to you. Now, it's fair to say, yeah, but I reacted to something else before I was offering a vibration that the universe was reacting to. And we say, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. So your questions are so important, because you're saying, so how can I stop being that reactor? How can I change the vibration? We say, you just got to practice. And what's at the root of that is really caring how you feel. Finally, once and for all, not being willing to put up with negative emotions, even if they're not that strong. Most of you put up with stuff until it gets really big, and then you react in a stronger way. In other words, I'm just not going to put up with that anymore. Well, you could have had softer, subtler reactions all the way along that would have been less impactful for your experience. But it's all good, isn't it? Really? Isn't it all good? Isn't it all part of the process? Don't you kind of like figuring things out as you go? And so maybe the strongest thing that we'd like to say to you is, if you can resist the temptation to beat up on yourself about things and just say, well, this is good, or I needed that, or that was good clarification for me, or I'm glad that happened because now I understand this, or now I've put more into my vortex, or in other words, just find a way of making peace with yourself. Do everything you can to make yourself feel better about yourself.
Is that the same when fear arises and it takes over?
Doesn't matter what it is. Fear is just a stronger momentum. Fear as opposed to frustration, or fear as opposed to even overwhelmment. Fear is an indicator of a stronger discord, which could mean some different things. It usually means this really matters to you and you're in opposition to it. And it also usually means that you've been practicing the vibration and you've allowed the momentum to become quite strong. That usually means that you could have stopped it at many opportunities at an earlier time. But there's a lot of justifying that almost everyone does about why you didn't. And usually it's just because you didn't take the time, or because you're too busy. That's a big factor for so many of you. You get yourself so task-oriented and so time-sensitively task-oriented that you don't feel like you have the luxury of time to process things or to find a better thought. But you can soothe that a lot with a very small habit. And that is, if we were standing in your physical shoes, the first thing in the morning, we would decide before we sleep even, that in the morning we're going to get this day off in a more deliberate vibrational pattern. And we would wake up, drink and eat something, brush your teeth and wash your face and get yourself feeling comfortable. And then we would sit and quiet our mind for 15 minutes until any resistant vibration is no longer pressing. And then we would set forth gentle intentions about how we want to feel for this day. Esther will write things. We encouraged her some months ago to just pick one emotion that you really enjoy and focus on it for maybe as much as 5 minutes after you've meditated. And so Esther started out with the word fun. Fun. Just focused on fun. And just really said the word fun until the feeling of fun sort of began coming over her. And what she began to notice is that after a day or two or three of spending about 5 minutes just focused upon the idea of fun, fun things would occur to her. And she started scheduling more fun things to do for herself or for herself with others, just more fun things. And then once she had found the fun of that, then the word that she chose was clarity. I like the feeling of clarity. And in order to really amplify how nice the feeling of clarity is, she put it up against the feeling of confusion. And she played that game, confused or clear-minded. And there was something about that feeling of confusion. And then just to make sure that she was focusing it the way she meant to, she thought about that foggy feeling or that unfocused feeling where, what did I do with my keys, or where is my phone, or what have I done with something? And then she thought, clarity. I know where my keys are. I know where I've put them. I know where my phone is. And then after a while it went further, that feeling of being in the right place at the right time, and the timing of saying something just right, and the meeting of other people who were there, and the parlaying of the idea up and up and up and up and up, till that feeling of clarity became sort of an intoxicating addiction, one that she almost was not willing to leave her room until she was sure that she had accomplished the feeling of clarity. And even though oftentimes she left her bedroom where she had been meditating and doing her processes before she had accomplished the feeling of clarity, because the feeling of clarity is a reaction to some things, isn't it? But just playing that game, she started noticing how clear she was, how easy the day unfolded, how good her timing was, how many things rendezvoused with her, and she knew that this process was working for her, you see. Jerry and Esther have a friend who is a therapist. She has lots of credentials, and she counseled, or at that time was counseling, quite a few people. And we were talking about the idea of scripting, which is like telling the story the way you want it to be, putting the components in it the way you like it. I did this and it felt like this, and then I did this and it felt like this. So this woman had some people who she was assisting, one of them her son, who is a really good carpenter. He makes finished furniture. He was the best around, but he didn't have any business. And so she just began focusing on him and thinking about his success, because it was pleasurable to do, much more pleasurable than reacting to his reality. And because he was removed enough from her, she took pleasure in this game. So she wasn't doing it to try to fix something. She was doing it for the pleasure that it gave her. And then she began noticing that his phone began ringing and things began happening, and she realized that she was amplifying something about him and meeting him on the level of his desire. And he was close enough to the vibration of his own receiving that it made a big difference in his experience. So the reason that we tell you this story is because we want you to realize that you have the potential of really uplifting anything that you turn your attention to, provided you can find that upliftment first. So this conversation of reacting, we just really are enjoying it, because we want you to offer on purpose and then react to your own offering. We want you to realize that your inner being has an opinion about everything that you are living, and that the emotion that you are feeling is a reaction to those two vibrations. That's guidance, isn't it? If your inner being feels optimistic about something and you are not optimistic about it, you feel uncomfortable because you are feeling the reaction of those two competing vibrations. So we love that you are a reactor. We love that you are sensitive. We love that you feel deeply, and we love that you feel quickly. And now what we want to encourage is that you do something about what you feel, and what it always is lean toward the more positive. That's all. That's all it takes. Just reach for a little better feeling thought every time you get that sensation, and then watch what begins to happen.
So much good stuff in here, right? I mean, react to the vibration before it's a condition, using your guidance system, catching it early. That's a huge one. Learning to catch it early when I'm, okay, so this review happened. I'm instantly feeling my vibration go in a way that, feels negative emotion, disappointment, anger, frustration. This is unfair. Look at the damage you're doing. All those things and thoughts and feelings, where are they taking me? They're taking me to a vibration that's really not in alignment with how I want to feel, right? So if I just surrender and offer thanks and appreciation, this is really the way to transmute it all too. It's like effortlessly overcoming it. I do believe as a result, I'll see less of it, right? Maybe I got more of it. Certainly people stated that. A lot of people in the new round of bad reviews, referenced that episode. So it certainly led to, more energy that I didn't want to see, right? So what vibrational stance is the response coming from, right? Am I inspired by source of surrender and love and acceptance, or resistance? What vibrational stance is the response ever coming from? And if you're always looking at your vibrational stance to understand, that is a huge, huge indicator of what type of result. If you look at the intention, you're going to know what kind of, what you're going to get, what the outcome is going to be, the vibrational stance going in. If you're agitated, irritated, any of those things, you're going to probably create more of that, even if you're logically have a great point, right? So do you want to be right? Do you want to be at peace? That's the question a lot of times. And I've certainly chose a lot of times to proving, my rightness rather than to prove to be peace. So it's a great thing to continue to work on. Noticing how good it feels along the way. That is your indicator of your success in your interaction. It's about practicing it. Compliment yourself when you're doing good. You ultimately, as you get used to this, as I get more used to it, you become less willing to think the thoughts that don't feel good. As I start going down rabbit holes of negative thought or thoughts that just don't feel good, right? That are confrontational or are not vibrationally calm. It just feels so less and less attractive to live in that space. You didn't come as a reactor, you came as a creator, and you want to create this sense of well-being. You want to be like the monk. And obviously that's someone who's come a long way when you take some challenges like, oh, this is your baby. Oh, okay, I'll accept that even though it's not true. Oh, now you're attached to the baby probably and we're going to take it back. Oh, okay. All right. That's like such an extreme example of someone who's really just non-resistant to what is. And I know I have a long way till I could deal with that situation in that way, I think. But getting a lot better, and so are you. And for that, like she said, complimenting yourself when you're doing good. In anything, knowing that anything that's manifesting is a reaction to some vibration you have going on. You have to sort of make decision points, right? She said, well, what you want to react to, right? You don't have to always vibrationally buy into something. You don't have to always take the bait. You don't always have to go there. Getting better, more intentional at sending a signal that we want to see the universe respond to. And getting playful. What wonderful and non-wonderful things happen, no matter which ones. She said, I did that, right? I did that. So, owning it and going easy on yourself. You've just got to practice. You get to practice. You're going to fall off sometimes. I'm going to fall off sometimes. It's just a part of the journey, right? And really caring how you feel. Don't put, if negative emotions are building within you, don't put up with it. Don't notice it and remove yourself. Setting the intention each day, like she talked about. What a powerful practice. Just repeating the word of what you want to see more of. Setting that intention, fun, clarity. What great things to just bathe in vibrationally as soon as you lift your head off the pillow each day, right? I love how she said you can uplift anything you turn your attention to if you can uplift yourself. Wow. That's how powerful you are. You're such a powerful creator being. Let's not react to anything in a coming from a negative space any longer. Let's move beyond that. Let's continue to get better. We are creators. We came to create the experience, not just react. And if we are going to respond or react, let's make it coming from the highest vantage point that it can come from. And as a result, we get the greatest outcome. And that's really what we all seek. And with that being said, I shall conclude today's episode, but I so appreciate each and every one of you that continue to support, love, show up, me, this podcast, growing alongside of me. It truly is an honor and a pleasure. And that goes for each and every one of you, those that are easy breezy and those that are more challenging and everything in between. I love you all so much. With that being said, I have a song to leave you with today. It is the lovely Ayla Nerio. The song is All of This. Till next time, journey well. And if you're feeling the call to come for a week retreat style Mystic Manor immersion, remember to go now and book your time to speak with me directly about stepping into the optimistic vortex at calendly.com/talk with Brandon while there are still spots left. Otherwise, I look forward to co-creating magic with you at the Mystic Manor.
I am but a part of this. All I am is all I give. Everything that comes to me comes as sure as I will breathe. I am but a part of this. All I am is all I give. Everything that comes to me comes as sure as I will breathe. I am but a part of this. All I am is all I give. Everything that comes to me comes as sure as I will breathe. I am but a part of this. All I am is all I give. Everything that comes comes to me comes as sure as I will breathe. Sure as tempest storms us into, pulls us planets, opposite orbits. Sure as forces spin us cycles, spiral changes, joyous, frightful. Surely, my dear, you've sung to the moon. Cross desert and sand, cross time and land, cross hidden and blue. You've sung to the moon. Comes as sure as I will breathe. I am but a part of this. All I am is all I give. Everything that comes to me comes as sure as I will breathe. I am but a part of this. All I am is all I give. Everything that comes to me comes as sure as I will breathe. I am but a part of this. All I am is all I give. Everything that comes to me comes as sure as I will breathe. I am but a part of this. All I am is all I give. Everything that comes to me comes as sure as I will breathe. I am but a part of this. All I am is all I give. Everything that comes to me comes as sure as I will breathe. I am but a part of this. All I am is all I give. Everything that comes to me comes as sure as I will breathe. I am but a part of this. All I am is all I give. Everything that comes to me comes as sure as I will breathe. I am but a part of this. All I am is all I give. Everything that comes to me comes as sure as I will breathe.